Hi, it's Kim Gertwold, the Education Librarian, and this is video 2 in a 4-part series on using sources when writing and citing with APA style. This video number 2 is going to focus in even more specifically on that article, Bringing Sanctuary to School, and finding primary material within that article to cite as a primary source. So the direct ideas of the authors of the Bringing Sanctuary to School article. Where are good places to look within an academic scholarly journal article for information that is primary to the article's authors, so the author's own ideas? While there are different places to look, probably the easiest ones, the easiest areas to really focus in on are the findings results section, the discussion section, and then the conclusions and implications section. Here I have opened the Bringing Sanctuary to School article by Blitz, Yule, and Klaus. We looked at this briefly in video 1. It's from the Urban Education Journal. I happen to know that the discussion section, which provides us a good place to do an example here, starts around page 114, so I'm going to try to get there relatively quickly. Here we go. At the beginning of the discussion section, I start to see some in-text citations again, so bringing in some of the kind of essential ideas and theories that the authors want to kind of show that are reflected in their study. But I really don't want to use a sentence like the first sentence of the second paragraph here. A culturally responsive school uses students' culture, ethnic heritage, and experiences of oppression as cornerstones of pedagogy. Why? Because that's an idea from this author, Gay, from 2014. So I want to get to something that's primary, an essential idea of the authors of this article, Blitz, Yule, and Klaus. So I'm going to keep going to where I start to see fewer in-text citations. And this next paragraph that starts with, given what school personnel reported in this study, here they're referencing their own study specifically. So they're going to talk more about their own results, which is a good place that I might be able to find some material that I can cite and cite Blitz, Yule, and Klaus for that information. After reading through this particular paragraph a couple times, I honed in on 2 sentences essentially that I feel like I can use to get an idea across that would represent what Blitz, Yule, and Klaus found in their study and would be important and that I could cite as primary to them. So if I look at the sentences, although when asked directly in the survey, the personnel indicated that they noticed students' race and culture, it was also evident that they did not understand the role of racial oppression in family and community struggles. Thus, while they may recognize that a student has brown skin, they dismissed race as an important factor in students' experience. Remember that with academic writing in APA format, you're going to mainly use paraphrasing rather than direct quotations. So from the spotlighted text that I showed you in the previous screens, we can create the following in-text citation. Blitz, Yule, and Klaus, 2016-2020. They're 2 dates because it seems that the article was published twice. Found that although teachers may claim to acknowledge their students' race and culture, they may not fully understand the role racial oppression plays in students' daily lived experiences at home and at school. This final screen shows you how the reference entry for this journal article could look. Unfortunately, this is a really messy example because I happen to pick the version of the article that was published in 2020, and the article apparently was published twice in the same journal, Urban Education, so there's a way to indicate that. That's why we had the two dates, the publication date of 2020 and then of 2016. So it was published online first and then also added to an edition that would come out in print.